Hello. So in this lecture of electronics, we will understand about the transistor amplifiers. To begin with the lecture, I will I will start with the concept of amplifier. What is an amplifier and what are its requirements? So any electronic device that we use in our daily lives, among all those devices, amplifiers are the most important. Why it is most important? Let us see some practical example. This is a device that all of you have seen somewhere in music systems, in DJ, everywhere. It makes the sound louder. So there are many devices like this that make the sound louder, or in general you can say that amplify means to increase. They increase the quantity. Amplify means to increase. Amplify means to increase. This is amplification. Now what is being increased and how it is increased, we will see to this. So this is a device that makes the sound louder. If you are speaking in a normal voice, you cannot that voice will not reach much larger distance. It cannot be heard by many people. And when you use the mic or amplifier, then the sound is much louder and it can travel a larger distance. It can be heard by many people. This is a very common example that we have, almost all of us have experienced. Now this profile, it shows the sound that I record for the lecture videos, and this is the profile. So I have a mic connected and this mic is producing this kind of a profile. So any device, electronic device, it requires some amplification. Amplifier means a component that can increase, that can cause a gain. Amplifier means a component that can increase the input signal. What is signal? I will discuss here. Input signal. Signal is any current or voltage. So amplifier provides gain, profit. For amplifier to work, we have to provide this amplifier with two main components. Amplifier requires two main components. So you can now connect the previous lectures. First, it requires DC power that is provided by the rectifier, and it requires an input signal. Input signal means a current or a voltage. A current or a voltage. These two things are required by an amplifier. Then the amplifier works and produces gain. How it produces gain, we will see to this. So let us first understand what is this signal. A signal is any electrical quantity, is an electrical quantity, any electrical quantity like voltage, current. These two are the main electrical quantities that is very small in its present condition to be used. In its present condition to be used. You cannot use that amplifier, that signal in its present state. It is very small value of current, very small value of voltage. That is not usable. That is not the effect of that current or voltage is not something which can be considered. It is very small. So that is a signal. have in our circuit a component that produces gain, this signal becomes usable. Suppose you are talking, I am talking here, I have a mic attached, or in the absence of mic, my sound, my voice will not reach to many people. It cannot travel to many, to a large distance or to many people. So it is not usable at this moment. My voice is also a kind of electrical signal. I will explain later. This signal, when this signal, or write it in this way, when we have a component like amplifier, when we have a component like amplifier, this signal has a gain. Gain means profit. It gains or it receives some more value, gain, that makes it usable. That makes it usable. Then only you can use it. Otherwise it is not usable. Now we will come to the definition of amplifier, because there is a lot of confusion about the definition of amplifier. So let us come to that question. If you have an amplifier in the circuit, amplifier in a circuit can produce 10 times gain, can produce 10 times gain. This means if your input voltage is V, then the output voltage with amplifier may be 10 V, or current may be 10 V. As a result, if there is gain in current and there is gain in voltage, the power is increased. If there is gain in voltage, multiplication, amplification means multiplication. There is gain in voltage and current. There is gain in power. Power, because power is given by V into I. Now, this amplifier, definition of amplifier, be very careful when someone is asking you what is an amplifier. An amplifier is a device that produces power gain. An amplifier is a device that produces power gain. This is the definition of amplifier. In most of the cases, when the student is asked in the Viva voice that what is an amplifier, he says that produces gain in current, or that increases the current and that increases the voltage. Simple answer is amplifier is a device that produces power gain. Power is the most important quantity. Now see the example. There are many devices. There are many devices that increase voltage or that produce current and voltage gain, like transformer. These tricky questions are asked in many exams and interviews. Transformer also increases current and voltage. Is it an amplifier? No, it is not an amplifier. For example, step-up transformer. Step-up transformer produces the voltage gain. It produces voltage gain, but it is not an amplifier. But it is not an amplifier. because it is not producing power gain. If it is increasing the voltage, it is reducing the current. So you must remember, so you must take this into consideration. It raises the voltage but not the current. Transformer raises the voltage, increases the voltage, but not current. And step down transformer produces a current gain, not voltage gain, so it is not an amplifier. The primary condition is amplifier should provide power gain. Step down transformer produces current gain and not power gain. So it is also not a transformer, sorry, an amplifier. An amplifier. The primary condition is that amplifier must provide power gain. This is the basic definition. This is the most important or precise definition. Provide power gain. Without power gain, you cannot call a device as amplifier. So whenever you are, from now further onwards, whenever you are asked this question, what is an amplifier? So amplifier is a device that provides power gain. There are amplifiers that are called power amplifiers. Now don't get confused. Power amplifiers, they act for large signals. They are used for large signals. We will come to this section later on. Large signals. Now when a signal is large in terms of the voltage or current. For example, the loudspeakers, they require large voltage and current, and your Bluetooth device, it requires power in milliwatts. Okay. Large signal means large voltage and current, like used in speakers. If you have your Bluetooth device, it requires power in milliwatt. So large signal amplifier is called power amplifier. Large signal amplifier is called power amplifier. This is the basic difference. Now we are talking about this gain. Gain is the ratio of input and output voltages, or this is not the right way to write. This is the ratio of output to input voltage, input signal. It may be current or voltage. So since it is a ratio, gain is a number. Gain is a pure number. Gain is V out by V in, the input voltage to output voltage. Now, which devices you can use for amplifiers? How amplifiers are made? Let us come to that point. So these amplifiers are primarily made of the transistors. Transistors act as amplifiers. Transistors provide the power gain that is needed for the electronic applications. Transistors can cause voltage gain, they can cause current gain also. And we will discuss the parameters that are related to current and voltage gain of transistors. So transistors are the elements or are the components that cause the gain or amplification in electronic components. Electronic components. They are of two types, BJT, bipolar junction. We will discuss what is the origin of this name, bipolar junction transistor, and FET, field effect transistor. We will discuss these things in detail. Field effect transistor. Now this word transistor, it is made up of two words, trans plus resistor. So transistor transfer resistance. Transistor transfers resistance from one end to other. Resistance from one end to other. This is called transistor. Transfer of resistor. Transfer of resistors. Now, how this transfer of resistors occurs? To understand this, we will consider first the construction of a transistor. We are discussing the bipolar junction transistor. Then we will discuss the field effect. So BJT, bipolar junction transistor, is a device made of two diodes, PN junction diodes, two PN junction diodes. Two PN junction diodes. There is one extra terminal or extra junction. So you have a PN junction like this. We have studied it in the diode section, PN junction. There is one extra junction. This is one PN junction and it is being attached with another PN junction. One junction is extra. 1, 2, 3. There is one extra junction. This is the basic formation of a transistor. So what is the main component of a transistor is, there is a p-type semiconductor region between two n-types, that is an NPN transistor. And the polarity of these regions, it is controlled by the valency of the materials that is used in the doping process. And we have studied the doping process in details in the diode section. I am providing you the diagram here. This type of diagram you can get in several books. I am using the book because the diagrams are very clear in this book, Schuler and Charles, Electronic Devices and Applications. The diagrams provided here are very good. So I am using this book for diagram references. So what we have in this diagram, there is a p-type semiconductor P-type semiconductor sandwiched between two N-type materials. There are two N-type materials and in between there is a P-type material, and the polarity is controlled by the valency of these materials. So this is the basic condition, basic construction. Now in the diagram you can see there are three terms used: emitter, base and collector. This is one junction, this is the second junction, this is the emitter base junction, this is the collector base junction. The three portions, the three terminals of a transistor are emitter, base and 3 collector. So in the next section we will understand the detailed working of all these components and how the transistors are used for amplification. First we will understand the working of the transistor, then the amplification action. You can watch the previous videos. If you have some problem you can ask. So with this we will start the next section of the amplifiers, the transistors and their action and the parameters related to transistors. Thank you.